Welcome to another episode of A Grain of Salt. I'm Wild Bill, and this is The Grain of Salt. And this is actually the body of what I wanted to talk to you about. And I gave you the punchline a minute ago. Or, yeah, this video is just a minute later for me, but for you it might be a day later. But we're talking about do not worry. And you know, in Luke, right there in chapter 12, I think 3 times, in essence, he commands for us not to worry. And I think in the whole gospel accounts, all of them, don't worry is spoken out of our master's mouth 12 times. It is a command. And, and Jesus shows the ridiculousness of worrying. He says you can't add, in the New American Standard Version, he says you can't add 1 hour to your life, to your lifespan, ever how you want to put that. And he says, don't worry, don't worry, don't fear, don't fear. It's a command. And you get on down to verse, and because he talks about in the verse 22 through about 29, he's talking about things that are earthly, like your body, having shelter and things that are here in this life. Don't worry about those things. Your Father knows you have need of these things. Seek first the kingdom, over there in Matthew 6, right? And that is a parallel scripture. But you get on down to verse 32 in Luke chapter 12, we see, he says, do not fear, little flock, your Father has chosen gladly to give you the kingdom. And worry is a word from a German word, and it means to choke or to strangle. And so you kind of tie that in with this scripture where he says, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, stop worrying. In one place he says, stop worrying, don't keep worrying. Emphatically, strong words. And so what Jesus is talking about here is he's talking about mental strangulation through fear, anxiety, and stress and worry. And there's only two realms of that you can have worry about. That's things here in the natural, in the world we live in, and then in the spiritual. There's only 2 realms. 2. The physical is dealing with material, and the spiritual is dealing with the immaterial, things you can't see. The physical is the earthly, the spiritual is the heavenly. And Jesus is saying, don't worry about your life, right? Talking about the physical. And he goes on to say what you're going to eat and what you're going to put on your body. So he's saying, don't worry about those things. Basically, or to use that word again, he is saying, don't worry about the basics of this life. I've got a purpose for you. I've got the plan for you. And don't scrape and scrounge and beg and plead and get all you can and can all you get and put the cans up and then all that. And then you got the spiritual, and he deals with that by saying your Father has chosen to give you the kingdom. That's everything. That's everything in the spiritual realm. So essentially, you are left with nothing to worry about. You're left with nothing. You can't worry. He says don't worry about the physical and don't worry about the spiritual, because your Father's giving you the kingdom and the spiritual. That's everything. You don't have to worry about that. That's taken care of, and everything in the natural is taken care of. There's nothing left to stress about or be anxious about or panic about. So we can conclude from this passage right here, 2 things. He said, don't worry, which is a command. It's a command. It's just as much a command as you shall not commit adultery. You shall not covet. You shall not, right? You shall not steal. You shall not kill. Keep the Sabbath holy, set apart, distinct, different from all the other 6 days. Don't have any idols. Right? Just as much a part of the commands of God, because Jesus is God. He says, don't worry. It's a command. Secondly, therefore, if we're not supposed to worry, and it's a command, therefore, worry for the believer is sin. But it is a sin, but it kind of rises from a failure to understand God. We don't understand His sovereignty. We don't understand His love. We don't understand His sovereign care for us. We don't understand His sovereign, that means separate. He's the king, and He is over everything involved with you, over everything, all of it, everything that involves you. He is over all of it, and He is His sovereign plan. He's over that. He's over the plan of your life, and we don't understand His sovereign resources. We don't understand the bigger picture. All we can see is right here, right now, I need a cheeseburger, and I need to work harder. I need to do this. I need to do that. I gotta, and you worry, fret, and stress comes. And what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Maybe we should build bigger barns because, you know, we got to put this food up. We got to make sure that we got a stockpile because who knows what's gonna happen. Nope. Do not worry. Do you think Elijah walked around with a stockpile, shelves of green beans that he put up? Because you never know what's going to happen. I'm not saying don't put up food. We put up food. We do. What I am saying is you ain't supposed to fret over that stuff. What are we going to do if we don't have this? And if we ain't prepared for this? And if we better have our go bag. And I'm not telling you not to have a go bag. But it is sin if you worry. And in Luke 12, Jesus is unfolding more of who He is and who the Father is, and the responsibilities that He takes as your master. Jesus is saying to us, when you enter into the kingdom, He is offering to us anxiety-free living. But a lot of us won't partake of it. And I'm telling you, it's as hard for me as it is for you to get this and to put it into practice. Worrying is something we do. We've always done it, and we think we need to keep doing it. But if we obey these scriptures, we got to quit it. And it's hard. You know what defined our lives prior to the submission to our master? Was worry about everything all the time. But when we submit to Him, that should be eliminated. It's a command. We're going to talk more about this, and take it all with a grain of salt. Y'all have a good one.